What's up, tubers? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to try and do a VO over this slideshow of the Silverado. So, you know, as you know from watching the channel, maybe you don't, I always look at what's next. What can I do with it? How can I make it mine, not just the box? So I dug around in the stash, and I knew I had these hydraulics left over from, I think it was the Cadillac build, and then these decals from the Monte Carlo. And, you know, we do a mock-up of the tires and wheels it came with, and I didn't like them. It's not the direction I wanted to go. And I knew I had somewhere a set of these cool wire baskets on minis and stretched. It was in this Impala kit that I'd gotten parts, or say a lot sale, a whole bunch of them. Somebody else had started it, and it was mislabeled. That cross on the wheels made me think that they weren't in there, but they are. So, you know, looking at it further and thinking, okay, that's cool. It's going to look nice, and away we go. And I found this little thing, a piece of tree that looks like it's going to work as a tank, an air tank. And then with the wheels, because they were also off of a Revell kit, the backings and everything are going to air quote bolt right up. They're gonna work fine. And the truck already has a pretty nice low stance, so they're gonna work great. I had to do a little bit of trimming around the rubber wasn't that great. Some of them were a little, but whatever. So I got it all laid out. Got a plan in mind, and one thing I knew that the gas tank it just stuck up. Words. Had to trim it down. So I laid a piece of tape around it with a marker, scored it, cut it, and pulled it out. And I don't know about you, but I go through razor blades. These are, you can see there's the used on the right and the new ones on the left, and every build I'll pull out 2 new blades. But I got it cut, got it filed down and trimmed. Got it all nice and flush. Put it back on there, and it looks great. Looks like it's gonna fit nice. It's gonna lower it and keep it level with the frame, and that should help a lot to get the stance right. And see, it's pancaked. So I add a little putty and a little paint, and we'll move on to let's look at the decals. I use these pictures as reference later when I go to assemble it. And again, these were from the Monte Carlo, and I figured some here and some there, and okay, cool, got it. The gas tank is fixed. Now let's work on the front bumper thing. I did a quick little rant about it. I'll put a link in the description for that. I won't bore you with it now. Basically, this is a re-release of an old kit, and there was 1 year where they had this as an option. They included everything for it except the lenses. So whatever, I got really frustrated and thought, man, that's the way I want to build it. Didn't have them. I sent an email off to Revell, and back in the box it went until I could hear back from them. They replied in kind of a dog flap manner, you get what you get. So I dug in the parts bin and found some rectangles that are going to work. They'll work pretty nicely, actually. All I have to do is probably just trim off the tops of them a little bit, and that should work nice. And then the leftover bumper, the OEM, I figured, I wonder. It looks like it might line up with the Revell Escalade kit that I have, as well as the whatever that thing is, the EXT truck. Similar body style, so that might be cool to make it look kind of like a Yukon and not an Escalade. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, got everything off the tree, got it ready to start the processing. Scrape and sand and file, and I always like to try to keep stuff organized as to what group it's in. Engine, chassis, interior, and then start doing the sub-assembly. Put everything together. I personally like to glue as much as possible before painting, and then paint it with the small brushes. I know not everybody has that skill or desire to do that, but With this particular kit, I would recommend at least the steering. The front end is unnecessarily complicated, especially since it doesn't steer or move. It's basically just two sticks that stick out to connect the wheels, so whatever. And then the rear, it's the same kind of thing. I find it's just so much easier to glue the stuff together now and not have to fight with it later when it's painted. And then just get the teeny brushes in there and detail it up. So got everything pretty much ready to go as far as sub-assembly goes. I had to do a little bit of clamping and, clipping. Some of it didn't quite line up right. And I had some of it, I was doing it backwards, like the firewall. I figured it's easier to do it this way and glue it to the interior portion. And, test fit. I always like to test fit. Test. Got, you can see here, got pretty much all of it ready to put on the sticks and paint, really. This front piece thing was just frustrating. I wish Revell would, I'd do whatever. Wah. So, quick tip, when you're working with tape, to make it easier to grab, you can pull a piece out, put some slices in it, lift up the corners, and then you're ready to pull off and stick on portions like this where there's a couple different fidgety corners you want to line up and keep the ends off. You can just easily grab it and go. I did an okay job of getting this corner to sit flush. Same with the front. It's a little fidgety, but again, doing it before paint, it definitely helps. And then, our wonderful body kit. it's amazing. I was considering opening that but putting some mesh in it. I'll probably just wind up painting that a carbon color. But, it came out okay. You can see there after the tape is off and the glue's dried, it's a little bit of sanding. Again, putting a little paint. Makes a builder what he ain't. It's an old adage from the carpenter days. So, it's ready to go into mock-up stage, and then soon paint. The chrome stuff, I like to strip it off. This Easy Off yellow can it's literally seconds. I mean, you can see it happen before your eyes. Spray it on, let it sit, wash it off. Then I like to hit it with some IPA to get rid of some of the residue. A little sanding. So, sticks, ready for primer. Got my colors chosen, and away we go. The primer, my choice of using red on the interior, the red oxide, was, I'm just experimenting with base coats, basically. And then my masking, just masking game on point for this build. Little pieces, I figured you can always do a little bit of touch up later. It's got it all covered, but also the bottom of you can't forget the bottom of the interior that'll show through that gap. Got it painted with the body color, pull the tape off, and oh my gosh, yes, that looks great. So, body color, we're sitting, curing, interior with a little bit of detail, from that undercoating, and where we're at now, we're ready to put the little Russians into action. Alright, well, that's a wrap for the small brush details. I'll let all this stuff set up, dry, and cure, and harden a little bit. Then I'll come back and start putting it together and put the decals on, and this baby will be ready for final.
My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh.
Alright, we're about ready to get into the decals here. Got everything all laid out, what I'm going to need, my tools, materials, and supplies. And I'll take those pictures that I had on my cell phone and prop it up on its little tripod right here. And then use that as a reference where all this stuff goes, because it's going to be a little confusing. So let's go ahead and put some decals on this here pick 'em up truck and get her done.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling in the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me